dozens of reporters have turned in their access badges and exited the Pentagon rather than agreeing to government-imposed restrictions on their work. Planet America co-host Chaz Licciardello joins me in the studio now to discuss it more. So Chaz, why have all of these reporters walked out of the Pentagon?
They've just been handed an ultimatum. You either agree to these new conditions or we're just going to take away your press passes and we're not going to allow you into the building. According to Pete Hegseth, the Defence Secretary, they've just been roaming around talking to anyone they like, going anywhere they like for years, and now he's putting a stop to it. Now, if that was the case, I'd agree with him, but I don't think that's the case. I think he might be exaggerating just a little bit. Having said that, I do feel there's exaggeration going on both sides here, and what I mean by that is there have been a lot of people acting like these new guidelines are worse than they are. They're bad. Don't get me wrong. But people have been suggesting that these new guidelines basically suggest that reporters have to run what they write past the Pentagon before they publish it. That is not true. I've seen the guidelines, even though they haven't been released publicly, they have been leaked. And I've read them, and it specifically says they don't have to do that. But it also says they need to renew their press pass 3 months at first, then 6 months, and then 1 year. Every year. No one gets it for more than a year, and they're going to be renewed on the basis of their reporting. And it's very clear when they say that. What they mean is, if you say something we don't like, you're not getting a press pass.
And Donald Trump has also suggested now that he could remove reporters from the White House.
Yes, that was in the same press conference where he's trying to defend Pete Hegseth, even though clearly his heart's not in it. I think Pete Hegseth came up on his own with this, and Trump said, yeah, well, it's great. It's a great idea. We should do that. In fact, we should do that. We should do more than that for the entire press pack. He basically just spitballed just getting rid of the press entirely, which he would never do because he loves jousting with the press. That's his number one love. So he would never do that. But having said that, I feel like over time this year, the press have been just gradually edged out further and further from the press pack. He's removed a number of mainstream media outlets. They've gradually been bringing in bloggers and partisan outlets, and now it's almost 50-50. It used to be the whole press pack and then 1 or 2 bloggers. Now it's almost 50-50, to the point when Trump now does some propaganda, he gets applause from the press, which is not meant to happen.
It's definitely not something you would see at a press conference in Australia, I'm pretty sure, that's for sure. Yeah. But the White House has also sort of been taking more control of who's in the White House press pool as well. Yes. So is this the end of free speech in American democracy? Look, or free press?
Yeah. Look, certainly, I think that the press are facing a tough period that they haven't faced for maybe 100 years in America. This is like the press had a great run from the 50s through to probably 10 years ago, and they're facing some choppy water. I don't think it's just because of Trump. I think their business model is ending. I think they're facing more competition from the internet than they've ever faced from any other means at all. But Trump's not helping. Let's put it that way. I don't think it's the end of free press by any stretch of imagination, but I do think that the press pack in 20 years is going to look nothing like the press pack now, and I think we'll be worse off for it.
All right, Chaz Licciardello, thank you very much.